All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Breakdown, prediction. Y'all ready? Here we go. Y'all said who I thought I might be leaning towards, and y'all are going to find out if that's who I stick with. So first, we're going to talk about their weights. Deontay Wilder took the scale first. He came in at 238 pounds. Now, I said he looked like he was in between 235 to 237, and he came in a pound over what I said. So you can't tell me I don't know how to judge weight. Just like I told everybody that he looked about 235-ish months ago, and people argue with me, no, you don't know what you're talking about. He's losing weight. No, the fuck he's not. The difference this time with this much weight versus last time was he put it on too fast. This time his body is acclimated, and you can see from that 231 that he came in last time to this time, he's had 20 months to adjust, and he's only put on 7 pounds in 18 months. So think about that. It's very little gain. It's a lot of muscle. 7 pounds of muscle is a lot. But his body has had 18 months to adjust to this. So his legs are not going to get tired this time around. I guarantee it. Now, Tyson Fury, he came in at 277. Last time he came in at 273. So he came in heavier this time. However, he did not come in as heavy as Wilder did over his last weight. Wilder came in 7 pounds heavier. Wilder always weighs the same weight. However, this time Tyson Fury, shirt, hat, pants, take 2 pounds off. You got him coming in around 275. So he's about 2 pounds heavier than he was last time, whereas Deontay Wilder is 7 pounds heavier. Not to say that this is a game of who gained the most weight is going to win, or who put on the most since the last time they fought would win. But I'm just saying that this is what I mean by Deontay Wilder. I could tell that he has been training hard, training like a madman. This is going to be him right here at his very best. This is going to be him better than we've ever seen him before. This is going to be where his body needs to be. I still think, looking at his build, his legs are still a little small. He could put on a little more weight. I think Deontay Wilder's ideal weight, because of how stringy he is, if he puts some weight in his legs, it's going to be around 242 to 246. I think that's the sweet spot, but he's looking very good, looking very healthy, and looking very strong. And he was very confident because, like all little men who gain weight at first, they bounce their chests like The Rock. That's right. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like a motherfucking monster looking at you. He was bouncing his chest at Tyson Fury. So that tells me body language is confident. He is very confident, and he likes his new build, and he believes that the strength that he's put on, which he talked about, will help him. Because he said if Tyson Fury leaned on him, he can now bench press 350. Don't know how true that is. It could be true. It may not be, but he's definitely gotten stronger. You could tell by his physique that he would be able to bench press Tyson Fury off him no matter what weight he came in, which is very good to hear. I don't know if anybody got to him, to his camp, and talked about like needing to wrestle with guys, push him off of him, do a little unorthodox training. But hey, it's crazy how whenever I made my video about things that Wilder needed to work on, improve on, and things that he needed to do, it looks like he's done it. Almost everything that I said. Now, I wasn't in the camp to see if he had any wrestling going on, but if he did, somebody is getting my videos to him. He's watching my videos. Now, as far as Tyson Fury goes, again, he came in at 277. I said, looking at him, he was around 280. So I wasn't far off. Again, not far off at all. And I'd imagine come fight night, he could put on a pound or two because, you know, on the scale, you fluctuate anyways. So I'm going to say by fight night, Wilder's going to be somewhere in between 238 to 240. And Fury's going to be somewhere around where I believe he is, 275 to 280. I believe that's what they're going to come in. Now, let's talk about nerves. Who looked nervous the most to me? Now, some people will say Deontay Wilder was nervous because he kept stuttering whenever he was talking. He was constantly stuttering while he was trying to get his little monologue out. However, I don't think that's nerves as in nervousness and scared. I think that is excitement that he's feeling because I could see it in his eyes when he was looking at him. I'm telling y'all, there's something about when you put on size. I know right now because I done got my size back. Not all the way, but I'm almost there. And you can just feel it building. And I see it. Now, with Tyson Fury, to me, he actually seemed more nervous. Why? Because he was he always is loud. He is always boastful, saying everything that he says. However, he got a little more screaming, a little more louder. His voice cracked a little bit harder. He almost lost his voice actually yelling, which tells me that he's the one feeling the pressure, not Deontay Wilder. Contrary to what people believe, yes, Deontay Wilder was beat the fuck up in the second fight. There is no doubt. In the first fight, I believe he was outboxed. So why would Tyson Fury have reason to be nervous? Because he's a part-time fighter. And he's seen a guy who has spent the last 20 months training to beat him. That's been his only goal. Build a whole gym in his backyard to do it. Now, let's get down into how this fight needs to be handled. I'm going to do Deontay Wilder first because Tyson Fury's is very easy because we've all seen how he's approached Deontay Wilder. But the point is, what can Deontay Wilder do? What Deontay Wilder needs to be able to do is work off the back foot when Tyson Fury is pushing forward. So what I mean by that is he does not need to come forward and meet him because Tyson Fury is very good at getting off shots, grabbing and holding you down, okay? So what he needs to do is when Fury comes within the danger zone of being grabbed, where a clinch can happen, he needs to do little back steps. And after he back steps, either shoot back forward with a straight, he needs to step around to the side and come off with the jab while he does it. Or what he can do is when Fury comes forward, feint to the head, throw real low to the body, and get out. And those are the ways that he needs to approach this fight when Tyson Fury's running across the ring early like he did. If he does again in the first round, he needs to soften him up. Don't worry about putting a whole bunch of punches together. Stick and move, stick and move, stick and move, and you'll break them. Now, another thing that he needs to do, he cannot fight off the back foot the entire time or he could get in danger because Deontay Wilder's power is set up by him exploding forward. That's why I said a little short back step, then come forward, boom, when he's backstepping. But he's also got to be able to show Fury that you can't just push me backwards. I'm going to go backwards when I want to, and I'm going to come forward when I want to, and I'm going to meet you in the middle when I want to. So this is where, when he was slipping, needs to come into play. Wilder needs to get better at slipping, at feinting. Slip, feint something, throw something, but it doesn't always have to be hard. This is where the touch comes in because the softer the punches, the quicker you can chain them together, and the more you can land. The more you can land, then bow, hit him with a hard one that he's not expecting, and that shocks his brain. So what I would like to say, what I would like to see with all that being said is this. At times when Fury's coming forward, I would like to see Deontay Wilder be able to slip underneath some shots, set up the straight hand straight down the pipe, kind of like what we saw Usyk doing to Joshua. I would also like to see Deontay Wilder tighten up his hooks and land a couple of hooks to the back of Tyson Fury's body and to them fucking love handles. I think that will hurt him the most. That is where his body looks the softest. It looks like it's where it's the most unprotected. He's got this real bad backhand that just hangs off of him. And if Deontay Wilder can slip and whenever Fury throws high, come underneath and catch him with a short left hook or a short right hook to the sides, to the back side, not behind him because that's illegal, but to his side, but more towards the back. I think it will really, those oblique punches will really start to wear down Fury more than any punch going straight into his gut. Now, have we seen Wilder do that? No. But again, we haven't seen Wilder work in the midst like he was with Malik either. So these are things that he may be able to do, he may not be able to do. We're going to find out. Another thing that Wilder cannot do, he cannot revert back. If he gets hurt, he's got to think. Like he was saying in this, you got to stay calm. You got to weather the storm. Because if you don't stay calm, you make mistakes. Well, that's exactly where his mind needs to be. If he gets flustered, if he gets hurt, and he starts winging, he's already lost. So he's got to stay composed. He cannot start winging. Unless he gets Fury hurt, then by all means, try to finish him. Throw the kitchen sink at him. A lot of people can't do much with Deontay Wilder. Jumps on him when they're hurt because his punches come so quickly. Even though he's windmilling, they're just too fast. And he normally just batters people till they fall down because he's just windmilling at too high of a rate of speed. And Fury doesn't have that type of counterpunch that's just going to one-shot Wilder where he needs to be in a huge fear of walking into something. So, again, let's recap real fast because I've said a lot. And this video is going to be long, unfortunately. I need an editor, actually, y'all. Now I'm just talking to y'all. But anyways, back to the video. Look, this is what he needs to do. When Fury comes forward like a bull, pushing through, work on the back stepping. He could take a real quick step back and then explode forward to trick Fury to make him run into something, whether it be a straight right, straight jab. It needs to be a straight punch down the pipe, step back, quick forward, boom, explode. He needs to be able to step around Fury. When Fury's coming in, hit him with the jab, and while you're hitting him with the jab, pivot around him. Sometimes it'll set up the straight right to the side of the face or to the side of the body, but he needs to stick and move. Now, he can land combos, but early in the match, he needs to try to break him down. Pepper him. Pick his shots wisely. Don't get into exchanges. Don't get too close to where Fury can hold you. Keep your distance. And something really good to stop holds is the uppercut. Something that we don't see Wilder do a lot of. But if Fury comes with that big, I want to hug you, whoop, right up the middle. And how you can set that up too is you can use your head. You can push your head forward, bend at the neck, bring your head up, and right underneath your forehead, have your fist following it. So you bring your head back and boom, hidden fist. That will be good. He also needs to come forward, bob and weave, hit, slip underneath the punch, hook to the back side of the body, either side, left or right. In my opinion, that's where Fury's the weakest. And then get out. Now, Tyson Fury. What is his keys to victory? Watch out for the right hand, first and foremost. Now, in the second fight, he did run into the right hand 2 times, and it did no damage to him. However, you're looking at a Wilder that's much bigger. 7 pounds of muscle is a lot. It's a lot more than 7 pounds. It's not like gaining 7 pounds of fat. 7 pounds of muscle is a lot. So you need to be careful running into that straight right. You need to understand that this Deontay Wilder in front of you is acclimated to the weight. His legs are not going to get tired as quick. He's not going to be as off balance because he's used to carrying 230 pounds. He's used to it. So the luxury that you had of him tripping all over his feet in that second fight is not going to happen in this fight. He is going to be on balance. So by that being said, you cannot be running into his straight rights. You have always got to stay off the center line. You've got to move your head to either the left or the right, but do not come straight down the pipe. Keep your guard. You did a really good, I don't want to call that a mummy guard, but you kept your hand with your mid open towards Deontay Wilder's face, which mitigated him being able to throw, and Fury was kind of moving to make the punches go behind his shoulder. Very good. You need to do more of that. You need to keep Wilder on the back foot. When you can, clinch on him, bend him over, and weigh him down. Definitely a good tactic to wear out his legs, make him feel the 238 pounds plus the 277 pounds or 275, what I believe you weigh, that you're going to be putting on top of him. You need to do that. Now, some other things you can do. You can also yourself work the body, but just like Deontay Wilder working your body, you got to be careful not to get hit. So pick and choose. But I think that the best tactic off the 2 fights for Tyson Fury is going back to the mauling. You get on him, you maul him. You beat him up, you clinch. When you're done exchanging, you let the referee separate y'all. You get back on him, you maul him, you clinch. You let the referee separate him. That way he cannot fire back. That is what he needs to do. Now, as far as predictions go, do I think Deontay Wilder can beat Tyson Fury? As I said before, I could see a world where Deontay Wilder catches Tyson Fury early, and because Tyson Fury is hurt bad, he ends up getting behind on the scorecards. It ends up getting outboxed because Tyson Fury is going to feel it, and he's going to have something worse than he's ever had from this particular fighter in front of him that he's never seen before. It's going to be a new version. He's going to be unsure, not know what to do. There is that possibility that he gets stung hard and he gets outworked because he's too fearful to get in the exchange. There is that possibility. Is it likely? I don't know. I do not know because, again, this is what I keep coming back to. Part-time fighter, part-time fighter, part-time fighter. Fury can say whatever he wants about him training 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't care if he said he trained 20 times a day. It's irrelevant to me because at the end of the day, we can see how out of shape he gets in between fights. And we know that that's not true. I also know that he says he doesn't need 12 weeks to train. He doesn't need 8 weeks to train. He only needs 3 to 4 weeks to train. Again, stuff like that will catch up to you. It has been too many of times where guys haven't taken other guys serious. In fights they should have won, they don't win. Now, who do I pick? That is the question. That is the answer I'm not sure I have found because it's very hard to pick against Tyson Fury after seeing what Tyson Fury has done to Deontay Wilder. The competition level that Tyson Fury has fought has been greater than what Deontay Wilder has fought. The skill level that Tyson Fury has displayed has been better than what we have seen Deontay Wilder display. He's bigger, longer, taller, better IQ, all the intangibles line up to Tyson Fury's favor. However, does he have the same heart as Deontay Wilder? I don't think he does. Does he have the same drive as Deontay Wilder? I do not think he does. Does he train as hard or has for this fight him been training as hard as Deontay Wilder? I don't think he has. So, in my opinion, this is skills versus desire. Skills being Fury, he has them. They're better than. Desire being Deontay Wilder. Has his desire drove him further ahead of Tyson Fury by will alone? We will see whenever they get in the ring. I do not know. I know I'm talking, and I'm talking because as I'm talking, I'm trying to decide who I think will win because I'm very good with these predictions, and I don't like if anybody was to make a bet on what I say to get it wrong. And I'm telling y'all, it is unwise to go against Tyson Fury, but there is something that I see in this Deontay Wilder. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And the thing about it is, I did something that I never do. And I listened to somebody speak. And I shouldn't have listened to it because I also had this on the back of my mind. Teddy Atlas picked Deontay Wilder to win. And we all know whenever Teddy Atlas picks somebody to win, they always lose. It's like the curse of Atlas. They always lose. He's got like a 5% pick right ratio. Like, it's horrible. And I don't know. It's like the boxing gods are against what Teddy Atlas picks. But I'm not going to let that sway my judgment. Here's what I'm going to say on this to close out this video. Everything in me believes Tyson Fury will beat Deontay Wilder. Everything in me. My mind is telling me that. My heart is telling me that. That is the right pick, is Tyson Fury. Will he knock Deontay Wilder out again? It's possible. It is possible. But I don't think this fight's going to go down the same way. I don't think Deontay Wilder is going to get stopped in the same fashion. If he does get stopped, I just don't think it's going to look the same. I don't think he's going to look as winded. I don't think he's going to look as tired. There's a lot of things that I don't think are going to translate in this fight that did in the second fight. So, will he stop Deontay Wilder? You can never say never, but I would say that the likelihoods of him stopping Wilder in this particular fight are lower than it was in the rematch. And I think, again, that Wilder's biggest enemy in that rematch was two things. He put on too much weight too fast, didn't let his body acclimate to it. He was too off balance. His legs were too weak to carry it for any length of time. And then he had Fury laying on top of him. That's not going to be an issue, at least the first part. Now, Fury laying on top of him could be an issue, but if somebody pointed my video to him and he's been wrestling with people, it shouldn't be an issue. He should be able to keep Fury standing straight up and not on top of him. As far as Deontay Wilder goes, there is something in my soul, I said my mind and my heart is saying that Fury's going to win. But there's something. Sorry, guys, I got a phone call. But yes, as I was saying, there's something deep down in my soul that is really saying that the if factor going into this fight is with Deontay Wilder. However, I have to go with what is called smart money. And to me, the smart money is on Tyson Fury in this fight. But I will say this, and I mean this strongly. I can see Tyson Fury not only getting beat, but outboxed and knocked out all in this same fight. It is a very strong possibility. And it's a possibility that I really am leaning towards greatly happening. Again, I'm picking Tyson Fury to win this fight, but I think, I'm telling y'all, like I'm arguing with myself right now while I'm talking to y'all, because I just, there's something about this Wilder that I just think Fury's not ready for. And regardless who wins this fight, I think it's going to be a good fight. And if Deontay Wilder loses this fight, which I pick him to lose, this isn't the end of his career. In fact, he's looking better. He's kind of looking like how Chisora looked whenever he got with David Haye. He's got a rebirth. He's revitalized, rejuvenated, like he said. And he's coming back out again. So even if he loses this fight, there's plenty of fights to be made with him. He could still fight Anthony Joshua. He could fight Usyk. He could fight Joe Joyce. He could fight Dillian White, because people have been wanting to see that forever. There's a lot of fights for him to fight. His career doesn't end here if he loses. If Tyson Fury wins to go on to be undisputed, maybe there's a way that we could get a fourth one, someone down the road with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, if Deontay Wilder continues to box and can beat the other top guys. But again, I hate to do a prediction like this, because I'm telling y'all, I really feel like Deontay Wilder is going to win. But I have to go with my mind and my heart. And it's telling me that the smart money, if somebody's going to listen to this and hold my channel to any type of validity, is going to be Tyson Fury walking out with the win. But again, let me say this as a contingency plan for my channel. I'm not doing predictions like any of these other channels. I'm not saying Deontay Wilder by knockout. What I'm telling y'all is this. If Deontay Wilder wins, how it's going to play out is Deontay Wilder is going to hurt Tyson Fury. He is going to outbox Tyson Fury, and he may or may not knock him out. But I can tell y'all that if he does knock him out, before he knocks him out, it's going to be him outboxing Tyson Fury, which is something that nobody has predicted, nobody has seen, nobody thinks can happen. And I'm telling y'all, you're going to see Tyson Fury go into flight mode. And all these things that Deontay Wilder has been working on, he's going to be able to shine. And then he's going to, I don't know if he'll stop him, because Tyson Fury is very good at surviving. But I guarantee you he is going to prove a point in this fight that he is amongst the top. That is what you're looking at right now. I can tell that Deontay Wilder did not take this fight for money. He did not take it to waste time. He did it to prove that he is supreme if he can prove it. And again, if Deontay Wilder wins, that's how the fight's going to look. It's going to look bad for Tyson Fury. And I'm going to say that look for Tyson Fury to get caught around the third to fourth round. And that's when it's going to turn around. And that's when Deontay Wilder is going to take over from the fight from then on. Now, if my heart and my mind is right, then Tyson Fury is going to go in there and beat him, and Deontay Wilder is going to revert back to what he knows best, and he's going to start winging, and he's going to get picked apart and beat up very badly because of it. So, there goes the prediction. So, to the people who are on the Wilder side, y'all got my breakdown of if Wilder wins it, how he's going to win it, how it's going to look. And to the people who are on just wanting to be right, you see how I broke down the Tyson Fury side, what I think he's going to do and how he's going to do it. I just think that this time around, as Tyson Fury comes forward on Deontay Wilder, he's going to be a little more cautious than he was in the second fight. And he's going to rely more on boxing before he really puts it on him. And you're going to be more or less seeing a Tyson Fury really start to get off full extension punches on Wilder this time around versus just pure mauling. So that's how I see it. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I had to make a pick, but again, deep down in my soul, y'all see what the prediction is. So if you're going to play some money on Deontay Wilder, you already got the blueprint of how it's going to go. But again, let me just say this before I end this video. Guys, I'm telling y'all, I see it, and I could be wrong, and I could be seeing something that's not there. But I think that this Deontay Wilder is going to surprise a lot of people. And if he doesn't, well, then my mind and my heart was right anyways. But let me stop this video. Y'all have a good day. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, sub, notification bell.